cruising down the Universal timeline. We have these nice posters off either side of the tram that represent a few of the thousands of films we've made over the years. We've made around 8,000 films at Universal, not too shabby. But you know, we're all here today really because of one person. Not our driver Julie, although she's very important. We're here today because of way back in 1912 in New York. There's Carl on our screens. After he founded Universal Pictures in New York, he realized it's super cold in New York in the winter. Who needs that? So he moved out here to Southern California, like a lot of early movie moguls, and set up shop here. Officially opened Universal City on March 15th, 1915. There he is on opening day. So we just had a birthday last month. We turned 103. And again, we're a real city. We're so real, we have our own fire station coming up on the right-hand side. One of the fire trucks is in the house. Over the entrance there, it says Fire Station 51. That's not because we have 50 other fire stations here. That would be too much. It's just in honor of a TV show that filmed on our lot in the 70s called Emergency. It took place in a fictitious Fire Station 51. Where are my emergency fans at? Oh my goodness, everybody put your hands down. So Carl founded the city to make Universal films here. Also from day one, he invited in the general public to get a behind-the-scenes look at how movies get made, which is exactly what we're doing today on the studio tour. So Carl was way ahead of his time. We're still participating in that same concept today, in a slightly more evolved way, though. All right, now we're just about to get to the bottom of our timeline. This is where we enter the front lot, and we have a lot of sound stages down here, a lot of busy activity on a working day like today. First up on the left, there's Sound Stage 12. That is where The Voice films. As I speak, The Voice is getting ready to film episodes for their 14th season in there. They've been loading in lighting and other equipment over the past few days. Lots of movies have filmed in Stage 12 as well over the years. Here's a few examples on our screens. And just up ahead to the left is Sound Stage 20. You see those white trailers parked in front of it. They say Star Wagons on them. Often when you see a trailer that says Star Wagon on it on our lot, that's a dressing room for actors or actresses working on the lot. Other times they're used for makeup. One of them back there said makeup on it. So somebody who hosts a TV show that films here, an actor on a show, they would go into that trailer to get their makeup on. And more trailers over here on the left. They're pretty ubiquitous for any film studio lot because this is a massive studio. We have about 400 acres of land here. So the more mobile we can be, the better. We use trailers for things like costume storage, production offices, you name it. But again, we have 24 sound stages on our front lot. On the outside, a sound stage kind of looks like a warehouse. But on the inside, it's more like a blank canvas for filmmakers and TV shows to create any kind of world that they want in a totally controlled environment. In the distance coming up on the left, more of our sound stages. Some of their doors are open, so you can peek inside. It's always fun to look inside when a stage door is open. Those big doors are called elephant doors. They're named after a man named William Elephant. He was a great, great man. That's not true. It's because elephants can fit through the doors, that's all. In the distance, coming up on the left, Stage 17. Their door is about halfway open. An NBC comedy called Superstore films in there. I have a clip of Superstore we'll see in a second. First, we'll see a montage from the drama series Colony. They filmed here not too long ago. That show airs on the USA Network. And then here comes Superstore.
I know it's hot in here, but let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
If your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
Superstore takes place in a fictitious retail store called Cloud9, and the Cloud9 set is so massive it actually takes up 3 sound stages, including Stage 21, coming up on the left-hand side. This is our second largest sound stage overall, so part of the Cloud9 set is in there. Big hit game show called Family Feud recently moved onto our lot. They film in Stage 29 over on the right-hand side, so that iconic Family Feud set with the long little desks and little microphones, it's in that sound stage. Other NBC comedies film on our lot, like Will and Grace. The 9th season of Will and Grace has been filming here. Also, a great comedy called The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. They're getting ready to film their 3rd season on our lot. Next on the right-hand side, you'll see Sound Stage 41. Recently home to a new comedy series called Champions, but now an even newer show called So Close is filming in there. This is where I might have to jump off the microphone if So Close is filming in Stage 42 coming up on the right-hand side. This part of the front lot is called Sitcom Alley because so many classic sitcoms from the 70s and 80s used to film in these sound stages. We're talking The Jeffersons, we're talking The Facts of Life, and Who's the Boss, among others. Filming before live, the studio audiences at these sound stages. Stage 43's door is open too, coming up on the right. Those stage doors, the really big ones, the elephant doors, they kind of look like iPad covers. especially when they're open like that. It's funny. Over on the left, more trailers. I think these are most likely dressing rooms as well because they have little pop-out windows for comfort and seating. Stage 44 coming up on the right. This is where The Good Place is getting ready to film their third season. A poster for the show is on the outside there of the sound stage. Also, a big hit movie called Furious 7 did a ton of filming in there. And I don't want to brag, but I will tell you all, one time when Furious 7 was filming in there, I saw the back of Vin Diesel's head. Yeah. Don't be jealous. He was riding his bicycle to the soundstage, going in the opposite direction of the tram, and I'm facing backwards, so that's why I just saw the back of his head. All my guests on the tram saw his face, and they started screaming and screaming and screaming. It was really crazy. We don't just have sound stages, though, on the front lot. Coming up on the right, we have the Bud Westmore building. Bud was a legendary makeup man at Universal for many years, so we named this building after him. In the Westmore building, they do all kinds of cool stuff. They build sets that then go into our sound stages. They have a staff shop in there where they can custom build props. Any kind of prop you could possibly imagine they could make in there. Off to the left-hand side, we have all these little bungalows. These used to be dressing rooms before we started using mobile trailers. They were dressing rooms for big movie stars that worked on our lot, like Jimmy Stewart, Doris Day, Lucille Ball, and Paul Newman. These were basically like apartments for the stars. Calling them dressing rooms is modest of us. You know, we wanted to give them a nice home away from home when they were working on the lot. Today, though, the bungalows are used as offices for production companies like Illumination Entertainment. They made the Despicable Me films. So in these offices, production companies can like read through scripts, hold auditions sometimes, that sort of thing. Just past the bungalows on the left, you'll see some activity on the side of stage 22 because America's Got Talent is getting ready to film in that sound stage. Will and Grace was in there recently too. You can see some of the parking spaces coming up on the left are reserved for people who work on Will and Grace. So this big building, it actually consists of two sound stages, 22 and 23, and then office space in the front. That's the part of the building we're closest to. But both sound stages are actually getting prepped for America's Got Talent. We should see coming up on the left on the side of stage 23 a little more activity. They've been loading in the stage and all the lighting equipment over the last couple of days. Even over the weekend they were working on that. Now that we're going to transfer out into the back lots of our studio. This is where we keep all the big exterior sets. The first area of sets we're going to see coming up on the left are the Metropolitan sets, or we call them the Metro sets for short. With the Metro sets here, we want to give filmmakers a lot of options in terms of city settings. Like if they need a big, ominous brick wall, we got them covered over here on the left. Not a single brick in that entire wall. That's all fiberglass sheeting made in the Bud Westmore building. Coming up on the right, you'll see a painted backdrop. Fun little game to play with this painted backdrop, though. Some of the white doors here are just painted on. Others are actually real functioning doors, so it's fun to kind of figure out which ones are which. This painted backdrop is modeled after a city in London, the city of Bath, B-A-T-H. Over on the left-hand side, we have our standing sets, though. A big chunk of our Metro sets is set up to look like New York. And these New York sets have been featured in big hit movies like Captain America, The First Avenger, starring Chris Evans, The Fate of the Furious, and The Amazing Spider-Man. Lots of TV shows have filmed here too, like Criminal Minds and CIS. One of my favorite shows, Key and Peele, used to film here all the time. And a little over a year ago, NBC aired Hairspray Live, based on the Tony-winning musical. That filmed on our New York sets as well. For Hairspray Live, they dressed up these sets to look like Baltimore. Hairspray Live is a really awesome showcase for our Metro sets. One production that filmed here just a couple weeks ago was the TV show American Ninja Warrior. Who watches that show? Who's familiar? Yeah, it's pretty popular. So that obstacle course for American Ninja Warrior was set up down the length of this road we're on right now. And then they filmed the episode late at night. They always film that show super late at night. A lot of these sets we're looking at here, keep in mind, are what we call facades. That's a kind of set where we only build the front and the sides of the structure, nothing more, because that's all we need to build. We just build what the camera sees, and the audience fills in the rest with their imagination. If a set also has an interior, so we can go inside and out, that's called a practical set. We do have some practical sets in this Metro set, New York area. And again, what looks like brick is really fiberglass. what looks like cement or stone is really plaster. We also use a lot of chicken wire and wood for the framing of these sets. Sometimes people ask us, well, why would a filmmaker film on make-believe city sets like this if they could just go to a real city and film? Well, because in a real city, there are all these challenges that you don't have to worry about here. In a real city, you would have to get permits, you would have to hire security, redirect traffic, all this stuff you don't have to worry about here because these sets were made specifically for filmmakers. And big Oscar-winning filmmakers have worked on our Metro sets, people like George Roydell and Clint Eastwood. But up next on our screens, we're going to hear from an Oscar-winning filmmaker named Peter Jackson.
It's the original I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Cole literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. How can I believe it? So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. And it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. This is a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife.
All right, it looks like we have an emergency cord pull. If this is a medical emergency, please pull the cord again. If you drop something off the side of the train, please remain seated, hold on to your personal belongings, and welcome to Skull Island. With the dropped item. Our trams are also super famous. All these trams So all those trams would in film and television history. This is our transportation department. I think my favorites are the three futuristic cars from Back to the Future 2. Those are the flying cars we were supposed to get in 2015, over 2 years ago. What's the holdup? Those Flintstones picture cars are made mostly of fiberglass, not stone. And our newest addition is 1941 Willys Coupe from The Fate of the Furious that was added just a few months ago. Once again, please stay seated during the tour. The tank at the end of the lineup is from Transformers, and it's made mostly of wood, just painted to look like metal, so it doesn't do anything in real life. Sometimes picture cars are really drivable though, like a lot of the Fast and Furious ones. We'll see a few more picture cars up ahead in this next area we're about to enter, but I'm going to let John Hammond do the intro for this one. He's such a class act.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
That was great, John. Thank you. Okay, on either side of the tram, we're going to see props, boats, and picture cars, all from the Jurassic Park films. The camouflage RV coming up on the left was the mobile lab unit in the Lost World Jurassic Park. And that again is mostly wood, painted to look like metal. On the back side of it, you might be able to see some of the wood paneling there. It dangled off the edge of a cliff in one scene with Julianne Moore and Jeff Goldblum. Oh, this is sweet! The dinosaurs are out and about. Aww, they're saying hello. I mean, they're spitting on you, but that's their way of saying hello. Here's a clip of the Lost World Jurassic Park. It features the mobile lab unit we just saw in real life. In this scene, it looks like the lab unit's dangling over the edge of a cliff right there. That's not really a cliff though, that's actually a parking garage on the front lot of our studio, just dressed up to look like a cliff. So something else in this scene that probably wasn't real, the rain. Because this is Southern California, man, where it's sunny all the time and the heat can just jack right up at the last minute. It's crazy. So we have a filmmakers here and they need rain. I'm going to show you how we can provide it. You're in old Mexico. These sets have been featured in movies like Called Me a Light. I mean, you can see we have some lightning flashes, you can hear the thunder. Both of those things are totally fake. And then we get the rain, too. So this is how we can have rain whenever a filmmaker needs it. The rain is coming out of these little high-tech devices called sprinklers. They're placed on the tops of poles all over the set. The thunder's coming out of speakers that are just built into the sets all around us. Lightning flashes are coming through slowly. Also, the raindrops are larger than natural raindrops would be. Real raindrops are so small they don't really read on camera. They're basically invisible on camera. So even if it was really rainy, we still have to bring in the fake rain just to make sure. Oh, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. That looks like a flash flood headed to the tram. Oh my goodness. That flash flood was also in the movie Big Fat Liar. All right, now we're driving to another part of old Mexico that features a facade that looks like the Alamo. You guys remember the Alamo. And a working fountain. How fancy is that? This part of old Mexico has been featured in TV shows like Criminal Minds Beyond Borders and Last Man on Earth, starring Will Forte. We're going to go from old Mexico straight into the Old West. We're pulling into 6 Points, Texas. Classic westerns. The filmed here, like Winchester 73 with Jimmy Stewart and My Little Chickadee with Mae West. I'm really obsessed with the stagecoach, the red stagecoach coming up on the left. That was added not too long ago when they had a big refurbishment project in 6 Points. We've got to refurbish these sets on a regular basis, y'all, because the sun doesn't do us any favors. You know, it fades color, it fades the paint, the sets. So we refresh things all the time. And as a result, 6 Points looks kind of brand new, which is amazing. But, again, not really brand new. There's lots of history here. Many classic Western stars worked in 6 Points back in the day. Something you may have already noticed in 6 Points, it's a little off. The doors on the sets are all different sizes. Some are larger, some are smaller. That's because some of our cowboy stars were tall, like John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart, but other stars were not, like Audie Murphy and Alan Ladd. They were about 5'7", but if they were the star of the film, they had to look tall. So we'd stand them in front of smaller doorways, and it would do the trick. You'd think they were taller than they really were. Very sneaky. And it's such an effective trick that we still use it today on short actors. Of course, I can't tell you who we do it with, because I'm full of integrity. I've taken a solemn, sacred tour guide oath. Oh, speaking of my integrity, right now I have to remind everybody to stay seated during the entire tour. The studio is private property, and if you drop your phone or just can't wait to use the restroom, pull the red cord to get my attention, and I will be back to assist you. But do remain seated on the tram. Oh, now this is the part of the tour where I'm going to have to lower the volume of my voice by exactly 50%, because we're approaching the filming area for Home and Family. Again, a talk show that airs on the Hallmark Channel. I'll point out their sets up ahead. Also, though, we're going to get a brief but exciting look at Little Europe. They're my favorite sets on the back lot. They're kind of dead ahead right now of from our tram. But these sets get their name because they could be any European country a filmmaker wants. We just change up the set decoration. Although currently on the sitcom The Good Place, Little Europe is the afterlife. Down the road from Little Europe on the left, you'll see the lighting and the tall wooden fence. That's the set for Home and Family. They film here most weekdays. Lucky for us, though, there's no filming going on at Soundstage 50 dead ahead. That means we get to drive right through it. At least I think we will if the doors open up for us. Yeah, there we go. So when we drive through here, you're actually going to see a full set. It's very detailed. It's a subway station set. And please stay seated, of course. And this set was featured not too long ago in an episode of the TV show Bones, starring Emily Deschanel and David Boreanaz. Take a look.
Yeah, you're above me.
That's him. Right over there.
So Bones filmed in here on this subway station set. And I'm told later this week, I want to say on Wednesday, a movie is supposed to come in here and do a little bit of filming. Although we don't have the name of the movie, that was not released to us. That's not that uncommon though in the film business when a movie's in production. Sometimes they'll withhold the title, like if they don't want spoilers to get out. It's kind of fun. But we can tell they're pretty much ready to go in here because there's even lighting equipment set up back there. This is really